Hey guys, welcome to Peak Performance Training. My name is Idris Smith, and today I'm joined by Dr. Bryce Young. Dr. Bryce Young is a sports psychologist. I myself am a tennis teaching professional, certified PTR professional, and USPTA elite professional. I've worked with some elite juniors in the United States and some even out of the country as well. Some ranked as high as top 10 in the world. Some ranked top 10 in the country in girls singles, boys singles as well. And so today we wanted to give you guys a glimpse into the world of sports psychology. Um, and I want to give you a little bit of a background on Dr. Bryce Young. Dr. Bryce is the founder of Peak Performance Training on Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. In 14 years of coaching at Bethany College in Kansas and the University of Texas Pan American, his championship teams achieved a 100% graduation rate. Over 170 universities and 300 teams in all sports have benefited from Dr. Young's training program. He has benefited. He has presented at over 400 conferences throughout the United States, Mexico, and Europe. Dr. Young serves as television sports psychology consultant for CNN and CNNI International. Clients include ATP and WTA Tennis Tour professionals, World Team Tennis, PGA and LPGA Tour golfers. Dr. Young was inducted into the USTA Missouri Valley Hall of Fame, honoring his lifetime contributions in mental coaching and sports science. Dr. Young's mission is teaching athletes to fulfill their highest potential through sport and life. And again, Dr. Young, thank you for being my first guest. And so I guess, for myself and our audience, what brought you into sports psychology?
Well, it's my pleasure to be with you, Idris, and I know your commitment to helping not only young people but also adults. USTA League play has certainly become a big factor for a lot of adult tennis players these days. And another part of what we're going to be doing in our peak performance training is also speaking to peak performance training for parents, because parents make a tremendous commitment to their children to give them the opportunity for tennis, which is truly a sport for a lifetime. You started at 4 or 5 years of age playing tennis,
Right.
and have played your entire life. I have spent over 50 years playing this sport, as well as the last 30 in sports psychology. So it's truly a sport for a lifetime. It's, I feel, one of the greatest of all sports, and it can be played at every level. It can be played with all genders. You can have boys and girls, singles and doubles. You can have mixed doubles. You can have college tennis, professional tennis. Absolutely, it's a great opportunity. In terms of answering your question about sports psychology, I really came to it not through clinical psychology. I came into it as a coach, as a teacher. And I went into teaching and coaching because those were my mentors. I had a wonderful, wonderful teacher named Kirk Meacham, moved to our little Swedish town of Lindsborg in Kansas. And I came from a working class family. I was working in 7th grade, contributing what I could. And so tennis was never work to me, because when I finished school and finished my job, then I got to play tennis as a reward. So I probably come into tennis a little differently than some people. I never use the word grind where it applies to tennis. Grind is when you go to work and you scrub floors, or you clean windows, or you do janitorial work. That to me is work. But playing a sport where you get to move and be with friends and find out how good you can be, that to me is what tennis is all about. So my mentors, like Mr. Meacham, my teacher, were my role models. I went to a private college, Bethany in Kansas, fabulous tennis tradition. They had tennis starting in 1889 and have it today. So that's 130 years
Wow.
of tennis. in a lot of D1 schools. So it really was a big deal. Well, I got to follow my coach, Ray Hahn, as coach. He was ready to retire. He said, when we find someone who's a product of the program, it really means something to, I'll retire. So I followed him for 10 years, then went into Division I coaching in Texas, University of Texas Pan American, in men's and women's tennis. And every step of the way, Idris, everybody eventually who got to play college tennis had good fundamental coaching. You had to have an Idris Smith. You had to have a high school coach. You had to have a pro at your club or somebody who gave you fundamentally good grips, good strokes, basics that were going to hold up in competition. Everybody was fit. What I found by the end of every season as we played for our conference championship at Bethany in Kansas, or as we're playing Notre Dame in D1 tennis in Texas, the teams who did well at the end of the year balanced out. Everybody's fit, so there's no advantage.
Right.
Everybody's fundamentally strong, so what's the advantage? Well, the advantage was it was here and it was here. I point to my head because mentally they were calmer, more confident, more focused, had a clear intention, had a game plan. From the first point through match point, they were dialed in. The hard part is the emotion. How do you handle the ups and downs from the first point through match point? Because at the end of the season, it's not going to be 6-0, 6-1 matches. It's not going to be easy peasy, sort of tennis. You're going to get challenged. And how do you handle the emotional part of it? So, to take what could be an hour program and condense it into a few minutes right now, what led me to it was I was trying to find out everything in the 1970s and the 1980s about what would become the field of sports psychology. We really didn't have a field. What we did have were certain coaches were aware of the mental game, and you had to find those coaches to learn what mental training was. And so very quickly, those adults in the audience who are listening to this or who will listen to our series on peak performance training, in 1974, Tim Gallway's writing The Inner Game of Tennis. Well, in effect, he was scratching the surface. He was introducing there's more to it than grips and strokes and strategy.
Right.
It's what kind of thoughts do you send through you? And now, my wife and partner Linda LeClaire is an energy coach. Now we know the thoughts we send through affect the energy we send through us. So we're at a higher level of consciousness